Over the years, many Anglophone journalists at the state media house CRTV have resigned from their jobs for reasons usually associated with unfair treatment. And not just reasons of unfair treatment, most times there are also reasons of outright wickedness. And since the creation of this national taxpayers broadcasters 37 years ago, it is only in the past 2 years that a bona fide Anglophone, Wongibe Emmanuel, rose to the position of Deputy General Manager and General Managers, as in all strategic state corporations in Cameroon, being reserved for francophone masters.
Now, before Wongibe, the CRTV General Manager and Director General Manager were all in the hands of Francophones, while Anglophones managed the crops. The person who represented the Anglophones at the top all these long years was one Francis Witty, a bilingual Francophone from Bangete, same as Felix Mbayu, who is representing Yaoundé region. Now, this is the reason while some household names have gradually disappeared from the airwaves and some have died under mysterious circumstances. The most recent appointments have not made things better for the remaining Anglophones minority still working in the house. See what post Anglophones were given.
Now, tribalism, nepotism, and favoritism are some of the words used by the English community to describe these unequal appointments made in the House and its associate organs. Once upon a time, Cameroon Tribune had complete English and French versions. The current bilingual version is virtually a French paper. On November 17, 2022, after the 54th extraordinary board meeting with the Minister of Communication, changes were made within the state broadcaster with the long-decried plights of Anglophones not considered. English-speaking journalists such as Esther Kima, Ashu Nyeti, Winiyawoko Motale have been made editorialists, while others were simply declared senior reporters such as Benen Buma Ghana, Veronica Benguela, Albert GM Bode, and Charles Ebounet after several years spent in service. Strangely, the French-speaking journalists do not have to wait half that long to get this recognition, and some of such people are Abubakar Abo, who is not a trained journalist, and Regine Guedlis Lebuda, who was recruited in late 2016 and is already made senior reporter, whereas her editor-in-chief is still not one. Other English-speaking reporters were simply rewarded with dormant posts, whereas more strategic posts have been occupied by the center-south majority. Meanwhile, at ASCAP, Francophones vowed to see an Anglophone board chairman only under dead bodies. Anti-Anglophone sentiments are not hidden here. Chop Samuel, the contested board chairman, laments that Francophones don't want any Anglophone to head them. They are doing everything to frustrate him, he says, and he adds that the Ousmane team had mounted a case file against me with allegations of embezzlement charges, which was thrown out of court as unfounded.
Now he regretted that the people were against him simply because he is an Anglophone, buttressing his point that another Anglophone, John Moma, was at CAP only for 6 months and was chased out and even banned for life from the corporation. These xenophobic sentiments have been a stock in trade at the Cameroon Copyright Society for Audiovisual and Photography, abbreviated in French as CAP. Before the La République du Cameroon state authorities tried to sugarcoat Amazonian enslavement with his their ensemble slogan, Francophone is CAP, have been fighting against the Vier ensemble living together. At ASCAP, one John Moma was booted out with ease by the Francophone clique, and since Chop Samuel came in, the same Francophones have never collaborated with him. Rather, they plot one coup after another to topple him in spite of his commendable efforts.
Anglophone's marginalization is as old as the fake union with La République du Cameroun. Joa, an elected premier, was marginalized by Ahijo. Mbile was hushed down by Ahijo for trying to ask about oil money. Fonlon was refused pension. No Amazonian has headed Sonara producing on home front. Amazonians are deputies everywhere, even where they are more competent. Anglofools are secretaries of states and ministries, and their francophone bosses sideline them on decision making. Anglofools are secretary generals in ministries where they answer yes to their francophone bosses. Instead of crying that they are being marginalized in appointments, let them take the bull by the horns, abandon fence sitting and hypocrisy, and engage fully in the liberation struggle to free homeland. Crying now will change nothing.
Now, in 1990, whether Anglophones supported the SDF or not, Francophones considered every Anglophone as SDF. The same today, whether you support the struggle or not. Francophones know that every Anglophone is ambassador, so better join the fight because you will not be spared when the worst comes to the worst.